For years, scientists thought Mount Etna's real threat came from its eruptions, until they discovered the entire southeastern flank is sliding toward the sea. Not from eruption, but pulled by gravity itself. In 2017 alone, 4 centimeters vanished in just 8 days. There was no quake and no warning. Billions of tons threaten to plunge, and collapse scars and underwater debris fields prove it has happened before. How did one of Europe's defining landmarks become a ticking geological time bomb? What secret in its ancient foundation makes this movement unstoppable? The answer starts with what is hidden beneath the surface. Beneath Mount Etna's imposing slopes, the ground is far from solid. Instead of resting on hard bedrock, the volcano's southeastern flank presses down on a layer of ancient marine sediments, soft, water-rich clays, and loose volcanic debris laid down over thousands of years. These sediments, sometimes only 10 meters thick near the coast, but deepening to 50 meters farther offshore, act less like stone and more like a saturated sponge. Laboratory tests confirm what field geologists have long suspected. These layers are remarkably weak, with porosity levels reaching up to 70% and shear strength as low as 10 to 20 kilopascals. That means the earth beneath Etna's weight can deform and shear with surprisingly little force. A structural geologist describes it this way. Imagine stacking a tower of books on a pillow instead of a table. The heavier the stack grows, the more the pillow spreads and sags outward. Etna's mass, rising over 3,000 meters above sea level, exerts a relentless downward and outward push. The weak sediments below cannot resist this pressure forever. Instead, they slowly compress, shift, and allow the entire southeastern flank to slip, sometimes by just a few millimeters each year, but always in the same direction, toward the sea. The instability does not stop at the shoreline. Seismic reflection surveys and sub-bottom profilers reveal that these soft sediments extend beneath the Ionian Sea, forming a continuous, slippery base that links the volcano's slopes on land with the submarine shelf below. Geotechnical logs from deep boreholes confirm that, even offshore, the sediments retain their high porosity and low strength. Pore pressure measurements show that fluids trapped within the clays can build up, further reducing friction and making slip even easier. The result is a mountain whose foundation is fundamentally unstable, a slow-motion landslide in progress, driven not by eruptions or earthquakes, but by the unyielding pull of gravity on a weak, yielding base. Every centimeter of movement is recorded by a network of sensors, but the story begins deep underground, where the ground itself is simply too soft to hold back the mountain's weight. On Etna's eastern flank, a scar runs 5 kilometers wide and plunges more than a kilometer deep. This is the Valle del Bove, a vast amphitheater carved not by slow erosion, but by a catastrophic collapse thousands of years ago. Geological records and sediment cores tell the story with remarkable clarity. Layers of disturbed marine mud, sand, and volcanic fragments found offshore match debris swept into the sea during the collapse, a signature found nowhere else in Sicily's coastal sediments. Radiometric dating places the event around 8,000 years ago, when a section of the volcano's side gave way, sending millions of tons of rock and ash tumbling downhill and out to sea. The evidence is not limited to land. Marine geologists have mapped enormous debris fields on the seafloor, stretching for kilometers beyond the present shoreline. These underwater deposits, known as turbidites, form thick, chaotic layers that only appear after major slope failures. Sediment cores drawn from the Ionian Basin reveal a sharp boundary above calm layers of mud and below a jumble of volcanic rubble and clay, deposited in a single, violent episode. Local folklore still carries echoes of this event. Stories passed down in eastern Sicilian villages speak of a night when the mountain roared and the earth shook. And some say the sea swallowed the land. While the details blur with time, the geology remains clear. The Valle del Bove is not an ordinary valley. It is the scar of a mountain that has fallen before. Historical geologists have pieced together the sequence from land and sea. First, seismic tremors fractured the flank. Then, weakened by gravity and the soft marine sediments below, the slope failed. The collapse unleashed a torrent of debris racing downhill at speeds geologists estimate could have reached hundreds of kilometers per hour. In the aftermath, the depression left behind reshaped Etna's landscape, and the debris field on the seafloor became a permanent record of the mountain's instability. The scale of Valle del Bove, 5 kilometers across and more than a kilometer deep, serves as a stark reminder. Etna's slopes have failed on a massive scale before, and the evidence lies both in the scars above ground and the buried chaos offshore. For scientists monitoring today's slow slide, these ancient disasters are not distant myths, but proof that the consequences of instability are real and always possible again. In May 2017, a team of geophysicists gathered around screens in Catania and Kiel, watching real-time acoustic readings from sensors anchored deep beneath the Ionian Sea. These instruments, installed the previous year along the submerged faults east of Mount Etna, were designed to track even the smallest shifts in the underwater slope. For days, the data showed the usual pattern: minor tremors, background noise, the slow heartbeat of the seafloor. Then, over 8 days, the numbers changed. The entire submarine flank had moved 4 centimeters eastward. There was no eruption, no earthquake, and no warning from the volcano's summit. At first, the lead scientist, Dr. Morelia Urlaub, suspected a calibration error. But the signal held steady across every baseline. The movement was real, and it was happening in silence. Field notes from that week capture the surprise. May 12th. Acoustic baseline anomaly. No seismic event. Flank slipped 4 centimeters. Internal emails flew between the research stations, each message carrying a sense of disbelief. For decades, the dominant theory held that magma pressure was responsible for Etna's shifting slopes. But this event unfolded with no magmatic intrusion, no swelling at the summit, only the quiet, relentless force of gravity. Urlaub later explained that they always assumed magma was the driver. This proved gravity alone could trigger a flank failure. The implications reached far beyond Etna. The entire southeastern sector of the volcano, including the portion hidden beneath the sea, was sliding together as a single massive block. The 4-centimeter slip in just 8 days was unprecedented in speed and in its cause. It happened without any of the usual warning signs: no seismic spike, no eruption, no visible surface change. Every assumption about what moves a volcano's flanks had to be re-examined. From that moment, the need for constant high-resolution surveillance became clear. The mountain's greatest risk was not what it did when erupting, but what it could do in total silence, deep below the waves. Inside a low-lit control room on the outskirts of Catania, a technician leans over a bank of monitors, eyes fixed on a live stream of numbers, graphs, and pulsing seismic traces. More than 100 ground stations, scattered across Etna's slopes and coastal plain, feed in a constant flow of data: GPS signals, microseismic vibrations, gas concentrations, and radar measurements. Under the sea, dozens of acoustic transponders and pressure sensors track the submarine flank, relaying their findings through fiber optic cables to the surface. Every few seconds, the system updates, mapping the volcano's movement in near real time, down to the millimeter. The technician points out a cluster of GPS stations on the southeastern flank, each one anchored into bedrock or bolted to concrete piers. These sensors measure horizontal and vertical shifts with sub-centimeter precision, capturing the mountain's slow drift toward the sea. Seismometers, buried at key fault lines and in deep boreholes, record the faintest tremors, some so small they never reach the surface. Ocean bottom hydrophones pick up pressure changes as the submarine slope flexes and slips. Satellite radar passes overhead every few days, confirming the ground-based readings with broad, sweeping images of ground deformation. After the explosive eruptions of 2021 through 2025, the technician scrolls through a timeline of strain data. The graphs reveal a subtle but persistent uptick in movement along the sliding sector, especially after the June 2025 swarm. Where the flank once crept at a steady pace, the instruments now register sharper pulses of displacement, sometimes several millimeters in a single week. The technician notes that these changes are not random. They cluster after volcanic unrest and periods of heavy rainfall, suggesting that the mountain slide is sensitive to both deep and surface triggers. All of this information converges in the control room, where scientists and civil protection officials meet daily to review the latest trends. While the average drift remains slow, only a few centimeters per year, the network is designed to catch any sudden acceleration. The technician sums it up plainly. Every measured tremor, every millimeter counts. Our job is to know what is happening before it becomes a crisis. For Mount Etna, the most advanced monitoring system on any volcano is both an early warning and a daily reminder. The mountain is always moving, and nothing is left to chance. On a quiet morning in a research lab near the Sicilian coast, a tsunami modeler brings up a simulation that few people ever see outside scientific circles. The screen fills with color-coded waves racing across the Ionian Sea, each wave born from a scenario no one wants to witness: the sudden collapse of Mount Etna's southeastern flank. In the worst-case model, billions of tons of earth and rock break free in a single violent event. The mass plunges into the sea, displacing water at a scale that dwarfs anything in living memory. Within minutes, a wall of water, 20 to 30 meters high in some simulations, slams into the Sicilian shoreline. Towns like Riposto, Azziriale, and the Catania port district vanish beneath the surge. The numbers on the screen are stark. Local wave heights rival those of the 2004 Indian Ocean tsunami, but the time to impact is even shorter. For the coastal plain of eastern Sicily, the warning window could be measured in minutes, not hours. The modeler scrolls through a catalog of possible triggers: a major earthquake rupturing the offshore fault, a sudden magmatic intrusion at depth, or weeks of heavy rainfall saturating the weak marine sediments. Any of these could tip the balance. The simulations show that while the average movement of Etna's flank is slow and predictable, the right combination of stressors can push the system past a critical threshold. Once that happens, the collapse can be almost instantaneous. In this scenario, the physical stakes are absolute: tens of thousands of lives and the future of entire communities along the coast are at risk. But the modeler does not stop at the catastrophic case. Next, the simulation runs a series of staged collapses, partial failures where only sections of the upper slope give way. These events are less dramatic, but still dangerous. Each phase sends a pulse of debris into the sea, generating waves that may not reach the height of a mega tsunami, but are still large enough to threaten harbors, beaches, and low-lying neighborhoods. The data here are less precise. While catastrophic collapse can produce waves up to 30 meters, staged failures might generate local surges of several meters, enough to swamp fishing boats, flood coastal roads, and endanger anyone near the shore. The lack of detailed peer-reviewed numbers for these incremental events is a gap that scientists are eager to fill. For now, civil protection teams must plan for both extremes. The modeler highlights a crucial point. The difference between worst-case and likely scenarios is not just academic. Emergency planners, local officials, and residents base their preparations on these projections. While the catastrophic model grabs headlines, staged collapses are considered more probable by most experts. Yet even these could trigger local disasters, especially if warning systems or evacuation routes are overwhelmed. The modeler's work is a constant balance, quantifying risk without fueling panic, and ensuring that every simulation, no matter how unlikely, is grounded in the best available science. For the people living in Etna's shadow, these models are not just numbers, they are the blueprint for survival. On the narrow streets of Raposto, shopkeepers sweep their doorways and glance toward the horizon, where Mount Etna rises behind them and the Ionian Sea stretches out in front. For people living here, the mountain's slow drift is not an abstract concept. It is a fact of daily life, measured in centimeters per year, just enough to be invisible, but impossible to ignore. The town's Civil Protection Office keeps a close watch on bulletins from the INGV monitoring network, updating evacuation maps and posting instructions at schools and harbors. In the last decade, drills have become a routine part of the school calendar. Children line up in the courtyard, practicing the fastest route inland, away from the water's edge. Teachers distribute laminated cards with emergency numbers and explain the meaning of the sirens that sometimes echo across the rooftops. The rate of movement, usually just a few centimeters per year, offers some reassurance. Scientists call it dynamically stable, not truly safe, but holding together for now. The mountain is always moving, but the pace is slow enough that there is no immediate threat. Local fishermen, like Salvatore, keep a weather eye on the sea and a radio tuned to emergency channels. Salvatore says they trust the scientists to warn them. If the mountain speeds up, they will hear it on the radio before they see it in the waves. Civil protection teams work from a playbook built around sensor data. The network of GPS stations, seismometers, and ocean bottom pressure sensors feeds into a central command, where technicians scan for any sign of sudden acceleration. If the instruments detect an unusual slip or a cluster of tremors, automated alerts flash on municipal dashboards. The protocols are clear. If movement crosses a set threshold, sirens sound across the coastal plain. And evacuation orders go out by text, radio, and loudspeaker. In some towns, volunteers rehearse their roles each spring, directing traffic, helping the elderly, and guiding families to higher ground. Other communities struggle with gaps in the siren network or limited resources, relying on word of mouth and the hope that the warning will come with enough time to act. Despite these efforts, uncertainty lingers. The timeline for a major collapse is unknown. It could be centuries away, or it could begin with little warning. Unlike eruptions, which often give days or weeks of signs, a gravitational slide might accelerate in hours, triggered by heavy rain or a distant earthquake. For residents, the key is readiness rather than fear. Awareness campaigns encourage families to keep go bags packed and to memorize evacuation routes, not just for eruptions but for the possibility of a tsunami. The focus is not on predicting the exact moment of crisis, but on making sure that if the mountain does move faster, the people below are ready to move too. In conversations at the seaside and in the markets, there is a quiet acceptance of living with risk. A local teacher says they love this place, but they know it is not forever. The mountain gives warning if people are willing to listen. For now, Etna slides toward the sea at the rate of a growing fingernail, slow and steady, watched by more eyes than ever before. The challenge is not to outrun the mountain, but to stay prepared, so that when the sensors sound the alarm, the community can respond in time. Right now, Etna's flank shifts just centimeters a year, almost silent, yet unstoppable. As instruments record every movement, the risk is not theoretical. Over 900,000 people live within reach of its shadow and potential waves. Nature's timelines do not match our own. The ground beneath us is not as fixed as we imagine, and sometimes waiting is the most urgent warning. What does that uncertainty mean for you?